I got the first question is this. Will Jim Harbaugh be on the sidelines this Saturday against Penn State?
Yeah, Dave, I really think he will be. I think that the Big Ten seriously was in such a bad way last week with all the complaints, the athletic directors, the coaches, the presidents, whatever it was. Everybody was up in arms. The Big Ten then took the weekend, thought about it, Tony Petiti, whatever, came to Michigan on Monday after having his meeting. Well, he came to Michigan last Friday, let me get that right. Had his meeting with Santa Ono. Everybody, the media leaked the letter that Santa Ono had sent to Tony Petiti, basically asking for due process. And that's great. That's great and all. But now, as we sit here Tuesday night, Dave, playoff rankings just released. Michigan is still on the top four. They're not going anywhere for the moment. But after all the facts have kind of started to really drip out, it seems like a fight that maybe the Big Ten doesn't really want to get into, and it can get uglier for other schools as now media has picked up, hey, guess what? Rutgers and Ohio State were working together to give Purdue the signals for Michigan's football team last year. Okay, well, whether Connor Stallions was going to games, whoever was going to games, they had the signals. That's the forefront of the story, is that they had the signals. They think they knew what plays were coming, and that turns out that Michigan has been having it happen to them. Okay, so at the end of the day, whether you were breaking bylaws that you'll probably get punished for, we're both in agreement on that. Michigan should be punished for anything that they were doing out of bounds. But let's not be pot calling the kettle black, Dave. Let's not be those people. Don't let the Big Ten do that. Because if everybody's acting in this manner, then it can't be just Michigan getting punished here, and the due process does need to take place at this point. So let's just start right there with that. Jim Harbaugh, I think, will survive this week, and if he gets through this week, he's going to survive the rest of the season. That's where I'm at with it, Dave.
I think you're right. If he survives this week, I think he survives the rest of the season. We don't know what's going to happen after that. This whole thing is just wild.
It's wild, Dave, and the other word I'll use is silly. It's becoming silly now, and it's becoming a major distraction, not just for Michigan. It seems to be leaking into other programs, and that's unfortunate. And the Big Ten really needs to step up and say, hey, this is an after-the-season situation. That's just what I think.
It's just like with the whole Connor Stallions, like potentially on the CMU sideline, wearing sunglasses, holding a blank clipboard. Nobody can identify this guy who made it there. Now CMU's under investigation. Like this, I'm laughing because it's like, this is just, it's wild to me. I'm with you. I'll wrap that piece up. This is an absolute mess. Part of it is Michigan just brought it on, and they deserve to be punished for it in whatever capacity that looks like. You can say, well, I don't know, Brant, and I guess this is my opinion right now. I don't think Santa Ono does what he does and says what he says, and that letter gets out and all of that, and is basically pushing his chips forward here against the Big Ten, if he didn't have a pretty good feeling or some knowledge at this point that there is evidence lacking that's going to link what Connor Stallions did back to Jim Harbaugh. Now, look, don't get it twisted. Do I think that Jim Harbaugh and this coaching staff knew what was going on? Absolutely. That's my speculation, though. My speculation is very different than actual evidence. And if there's evidence missing here, and the Big Ten plans to come down and slap their hand down on Michigan right now, like this week, this is going to be a crazy legal battle moving forward. If you think it's messy now, it's about to get a whole lot messier here because there are several schools involved now, and it's like Michigan's holding on to this blackmail of like evidence against other schools. I mean, I don't know how much the Big Ten wants to just rip the Band-Aid off right now, as we are down to the last few games of the season. And don't get it twisted. There are millions upon millions of dollars on the line right now. And I've never seen anything like this. I don't think either of us have. I'm sure there have been other scandals and different things leaked to other teams. This whole thing is just, it's crazy. I'll be curious to see how it plays out. I do agree. If Harbaugh survives and is coaching on the sidelines against Penn State this weekend, I think he at least coaches the rest of the year. That doesn't mean that there aren't some consequences coming later down the line, because there's certainly consequences coming later down the line.